first time I've got this haircut on YouTube. I probably should try to make it look better, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So here we are. Hi everyone. So today I'm doing a get ready with me. I'm using some things that I've purchased recently, and for foundation I'm going to use the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear. They just released this in Siberia in the past month or so, and I've worn this several times and I've been kind of struggling, but we'll try. We'll see if we can get it to wear better today. I'm gonna use this Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury in Fair. This one had been out of stock for a while, but then I realized I was not noticing my stock notifications, but it was in stock during the sale, so I went ahead and picked that up. And I'm going fancy today, super fancy. I had one of those $100 Rouge rewards, which is just a coupon that expires, but I had one. So I decided I was gonna spend that plus some money on this Pat McGrath palette. So I bought the Bronze Seduction palette, and I'm thinking maybe I should have bought something different. I don't know, I'm struggling with this. There are pretty things in here, but I'm just like, whenever I think about using it, I'm like, oh, the glitter, I gotta be careful not to make a mess, and then I just don't, and then I keep doing the same looks with it over and over, and I don't know. I feel like I need to go watch some other people use this palette to get inspired. But I'm gonna use it today. And yeah, so anyway, I've been talking too much, so I'm just gonna get started because, you know, these get ready with me is all like usually an hour of stuff I have to edit, and that just is, it's just a lot. So today I'm gonna use the LORAC Behind the Scenes eye primer. It's one of my kind of old favorites, old go-tos. Normally past like 6 months, year, I've been using concealer, but I don't know. I guess I want to be double sure that this is gonna last nicely throughout the day. The downside is that like my face ends up being quite a bit lighter than this part of my eyes, so I have to go in with like a powder foundation or something later. Whatever. So this Pat McGrath palette, it's what, $125? It's a lot of money. I mean, there's very pretty stuff in here, and like this shifty shade is super, super pretty. And I've worn it in a video once. This shade is really pretty. This one is really easy to work with. This is kind of like that initial launch she did with those like sets. I feel like it's super similar to one I had purchased and returned because it was so much money and I knew I was just not gonna use it. It's like 50 bucks, and it was like this and this highlight balm thing that was just like a clear balm. I don't know. So this also has like a shift to it. Can you tell I'm stalling? Because I am totally stalling because I just don't know what to do. I guess to me the only option to start a look is to go in with that color. And I think that's part of how I feel kind of stymied by it. So I'm like, well, what else do I do other than like brown? Because I tried using that purple without anything and it just did not look good. Looked kind of patchy, and I don't know. The one time I tried to do that, and I probably wasn't using a good brush for it, and I don't know. Why is there glitter on my cheek? You know, I've tried to become more like relaxed about glitter, and it's like, oh, it's fine, it's fun, you know. But what it comes down to is I just don't like dealing with glitter shadows because I always make a mess. And I wear a pretty sticky sunscreen and glitter just sticks to it. So I think I'm gonna try, I've only used this shade once, so I think I might try that one again. Use a shader brush to see if I can kind of pack that on a little bit. Just the shade feels really dry. I don't know if I got like a dud or what? Just hard. I feel like it's hard to get on my face. And maybe it's just, it's supposed to be sheer and I'm not getting it. It looks pretty. It does look pretty. I feel like I've got a pretty grumpy attitude here. See, the thing with spending that Rouge Reward on something like this is that you can't take it back. You can't return it. And I thought that, you know, it's like I want to support her brand, and everybody, like universally, everybody loves these palettes. And this is one I feel like has gotten a lot of love. So I felt like it was kind of a safe bet. You know, I really do like duochromes a lot. And I thought that, you know, I'd be cool with the glitter shadows because everybody says how well they work. Like how they're so different from everything else on the market. And, you know, I felt like I had a responsibility to try it. And I don't know, man. I'm going to take this shade, the kind of shifty, it's like pink, peachy pink green, just on the inner part. This is a beautiful shadow. I have no complaints about this one. It's easy to use, beautiful payoff, gorgeous finish. But I will say, on my eyes, basically it just looks green. You can see that there's something else, but I feel like the majority of what you see is green. Which again is fine, it's just... And a lot of shifty kind of shadows do that, I feel like, you know? It's like things that are like white and pink, I get them on my face and all I see is pink. I might see if I can use some tape and lift up that glitter that's like all down my face right here because it's driving me crazy. So for eyeliner, I don't think I want to use anything different for tight line. I'm just going to use one of my L'Oreal Infallible lacquer liners. I've been enjoying applying this with the little fine liner style brush. It does get more product on. I feel like I've already talked about this in a video. It gets more product on, but I feel like I can also control it a little better. And so this one was getting a little dried out, so I did go in there and mix it up, and that got a lot more flowing better. I feel like I do the same eye look every time when I use this palette. I always use that green, and so then everything ends up looking the same. Alright, so I don't know if this is a good idea, and I might end up taking this foundation off. We'll see. I'm going to try out the Milk. I bought a little mini of the Hydro Grip primer. So I also have the Cover FX gripping primer, which I have used, which works amazingly on certain formulas, like L'Oreal True Match, and Colourpop No Filter. Those are the only things I've ever, like, it's the first primer that actually made a difference for me. With those formulas where they lasted more than like 4 hours. So I'm just going to apply this everywhere on the right side of my face and all on my nose, because I found sometimes, especially grippy type primers, if you don't blend the edges well, and I have a harder time doing that on my nose, you'll be able to see a line. So I really like the Cover FX one. I found with matte foundations, it doesn't always work that great. I'm gonna pay attention to the time. It says a minute to start getting grippy. I noticed that this does dry down completely because I swatched it on my hand and my hand is totally dry. I think the Cover FX one stays more grippy, tacky feeling for longer. I don't know. This is the first time I've actually used the Milk on my face. And my cheeks feel pretty dry, so I think I'm just going to, right, I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna just slather all sorts of things all over my face. The Hollywood Flawless Filter. I'm gonna put that on the cheeks. Should I do? I guess so. I guess we're going there. And maybe a little on my nose. So you can see it's not like super duper fair. I do think this dries down as I recall. I've tried this on top of makeup once or twice, and I'm just gonna bring this down further on my cheeks because my cheeks are dry. It seemed to move the foundation around a little when I tried it that way, but that's not, you know. I feel like that day I tried a cream blush that I usually find goes okay over foundation, and it moved my foundation too. So, okay, anyway, the clock is probably past a minute and it may be drying down to nothing, okay? The NARS natural, whatever the heck, natural radiant longwear. I'm gonna do one pump, which I know is not gonna cover my whole face, with a sponge. Oh, I hope this looks better today. Okay. Give one more pump. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin Flawless 24-hour in Fair Warm. I think I'm just gonna use this one under my eyes as well. This foundation's not looking good. Just looks heavy and noticeable on my skin. Like a little cakey, a little patchy. Like I applied it really poorly, which is totally possible. Oh, my under eyes are too dry. This is turning out to be not my best work here. I'm trying to reduce the amount of moisture I have on my skincare routine in the morning to only moisturize my dry areas and keep the more oily areas less moisturized, because I've been having problems with my T-zone getting ultra oily throughout the day. All right, I'm going in with my Stellar Cosmic Face Haze finishing powder. See, it's pretty cakey. I feel like it's really just kind of visible sitting on top of my skin over here. My nose got patchy, as it often does. I don't know. My under eyes are kind of a mess. From a distance it looks fine, but that's not really how I like my makeup to look. I want it to look good up close. Alrighty. I guess I'll just go in with that same matte brown because I don't know what else to do. This is a new brush I picked up. Keep trying to find new good lower lash line brushes other than the Cosmetics one I have. And this is the e.l.f. 202 of this, whatever this line is called. I will, if I remember, I'll try to put the information below. It works really well. And it just is a little scratchy. The way I like, part of the reason I really like the IT Cosmetics one is that it's cut such that it's like rounded, so it's never scratchy. The way this is like a little bit more pointy and kind of firm in a different way makes it a little scratchier, like if you go back and forth. On my under eye area, which is very sensitive, which is why I have a hard time finding like pencil brushes that I like for the lower lash line. Could do kind of a funky waterline since I have all these pretty pencils from LA Girl. Believe I bought all of the colors. There's also a black, which I bought. So this is it's LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner, and these are really nice. This yellow is really good on the waterline. I have one from Colourpop that I really don't like on the waterline because it's too sheer, so it just makes me look like jaundiced. But this can build up really nicely. I tried the purple on the waterline and it was kind of sheer. It was hard to build up. And I've also worn the blue on the waterline, which was nice. So I was kind of thinking the green, since I have the green. Sure, why not? I can't see anything. We're gonna get a couple layers here. Hopefully I can build up the color a little bit. Sometimes it's just getting that first layer down so it can be like a dry surface, and then it will build on top of itself better. And I'm also kind of warming it up on my hand just to try to get it moving a little bit more. The black one glides on like butter. Some of the colors seem to be a little bit more stiff. I was just expecting something a little more vibrant. I mean, if I used it like on the lash line, it looks like it would be quite vibrant, but it's just not transferring to my waterline very well. So I got this in BoxyCharm, Alamar Colourette Blush Trio. The eyeshadow palette that came from BoxyCharm was, I think, the first month actually that I subscribed because it looked so lovely. This looks like a really pretty palette, so I'm definitely intrigued by that color. This like kind of berry tone is really pretty. This Isla looks kind of like a peach coral, also looks really pretty. All right, so we're going to Isla, the middle shade, kind of corally shade. It seemed a little powdery when I swatched it, which I think actually is kind of good for me because I feel like that's going to make it a little easier to blend. I think I'm just going to go a little bit more subtle and use this Physicians Formula Warm Nude Shimmer Strips palette. There's also like Natural Nude, which is a little bit lighter and less warm toned, but I'm going to go in with this little shade here, which you can probably see is the one I usually use. My Real Techniques setting brush. Actually, I'm going to go back and forth between these top two. So this gives a nice shine without being like super metallic. This is one, Taylor recommends the other one, the Natural Nude or whatever, but I really like this, and I would be happy to buy the other one too. I just never think about it because Physicians Formula is just rather expensive for drugstore makeup, so I prefer to get it when it's on sale. if I had eyebrows and eyelashes. I think I'll do eyebrows first. I may or may not be exercising later, so in the hopes of keeping it on my face, I'm going to use my Colourpop Precision Brow Pencil taken from Granite. This holds up pretty well to sweat. I've been wearing the Stila waterproof brow pen more often. It does not hold up to sweat. It just drips, runs down my face, even though it's waterproof. The not so waterproof brow pen. I think next time I might try a lighter color of this one. I like this one, but with how I do my brows, it almost always ends up being a little bit more intense than I want. The tone is really good. I think it's really similar to the color I dye my eyebrows, but I have to be careful. And it's a pretty soft brow pencil, which is, I've found so far, every sort of pencil product that claims to hold up to water is very soft. Both of the Milani ones I've tried. Revlon has this Color Stay waterproof, water resistant brow pencil, and it is so soft. I have a really hard time using that one without making a complete mess of my brows. Oh geez. Speaking of mess. Okay. To clean up around my brows, plus make my brow bone match something closer to my face, I'm gonna use the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder Foundation. And this is in 102 Fair Porcelain, which is nice and fair. I use one of these little Luxie mini flat angled brushes. This gets a good amount of product on the brush, and it can kind of get all up in next to my brow. And I also use this for the parts where I don't get any coverage products, but I have a fair amount of discoloration. That will kind of open up that part of my eye and make it look like I'm not frowning so much. I've got a little bit of like a divot right there, and just getting like a matte powder that's brightening there can kind of make that seem a little bit flatter and like I'm not scowling as much. So I bought the Sephora Lash Stash. Is that what they call it? That's what it used to be called. Like 4 years ago. I don't know if they still call it. Oh yeah, they do. The Lash Stash to go. I always feel like these are really good deals. It's $28. You get 5 deluxe samples and a voucher for a full size. So I don't like to spend high-end mascara money, but this, like, I usually find I can get like a month or 2 out of these little samples, and you get 5 of them, and then you also get a full-size product. So I don't know, to me it's a really good value, and as long as I know that I like at least a couple of the formulas in there, it works out well. And I knew I liked the Urban Decay, the Milk, the Too Faced, and the Tarte. So the only one I wasn't sure about was the Hourglass, and I will use it, and maybe it will apply better as I use it. It's like it goes on nicely in the first coat, not even coat, the first like couple run-throughs, and then when I try to build up a little volume, as I always do, I put on my mascara pretty much the same all the time. It gets the strangest clumpiness, like clumpiness in the middle of the lashes. It is bizarre. We'll see if it happens today. Still kind of clumpy, like in the middle of my lashes. I also find it kind of awkward holding on to this triangular shaped mascara wand handle. Look at the clumpiness. I don't like that kind of clumpiness. It's too much. Too much. Should I put some highlight in my inner corner? I guess. The that like white gold reflect shadow in the Pat McGrath palette will just look yellow if I put it on my inner corner. The other kind of light goldish shadow also has a yellow gold reflect to it, so that also will look yellow if I put it in my inner corner. So that's why I'm not using any of the shades out of that palette. What are we gonna do for lips? I have no idea. Maybe I'll just do that. This is Ultra Glossy Lip from Colourpop in Champagne Mommy. M-A-M-I, not M-O-M-M-Y. It's got a little brush applicator. Which, if you'll remember, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, I had a little baby sample of a Makeup Forever gloss. That's one of the few glosses I've ever finished because it was tiny. And it had a brush applicator, and I just felt so fancy when I was using it. So to me, brush applicators means fancy. So I was kind of tickled that this one came with a brush. I feel like in theory also, if you put it over a lipstick, it doesn't pick up as much product and like put it back into the gloss. Doesn't get stuck to it the way like a doe foot does, but I'm not really feeling gloss here. It's pretty. It looks really pretty. I feel like I'm too shiny. Got too much shiny stuff going on. So I think that's it for my Get Ready With Me. Let me know if you have any questions. Maybe, depending how things go, I'll insert a little picture as to how this looked either after exercising at the end of the day, after exercising at the end of the day. We'll see how the day progresses. I mean, if I'm feeling super ambitious, maybe I'll pop back in here with an update. I doubt it. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if you have any experience with this Hydro Grip primer and how you like to use it, and if you found a way that it works for you or doesn't work for you, etc. And what your thoughts are about the Pat McGrath, if you have any of her palettes, and what you think. Do you think I should have gotten a different one? I think I should have gotten a different one. I think I should have gotten the kind of pinky purpley one, or just the cheaper pink purple one. I don't know. I think maybe I was kind of setting myself up for failure, because I feel like the reason I hadn't bought them previously was because I felt like there was nothing that was going to be worth that money to me. And I feel like that's what happened. So anyway, yeah. I always love hearing from you guys. Anything you have to leave as a comment, a question, I would love to hear it. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today. If you aren't already, please do subscribe and turn on the bell. I've heard that like you're not going to get everything if you don't have the bell turned on. I don't know if that is the case. I don't have the bell turned on for anybody I watch because I don't want notifications. Because I just have a very limited amount of time of when I'm going to watch videos. So I just, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, that turning on the bell is the only way you can get everything in your little subscription feed. I think Taylor said that she had talked to somebody at YouTube and that basically you had to have the bell turned on. Is that true? I don't remember. Anyway, so maybe, possibly you need the bell. I don't know. I'm just regurgitating what I think I remember somebody saying. Anyhow, if you want a notification, turn the bell on. And maybe if you want everything, then turn the bell on. I don't know. I don't like getting notifications for stuff like that. Plus, I get notifications on comments from YouTube anyway, and I would rather just have those kind of notifications on my phone because those are the things I want to take action on when I see them. I like to get back to you guys quickly when I can, and it really drives me nuts when I miss a comment or I take too long to get back to it because, you know, being a small channel, I feel like that's kind of a perk of watching a smaller channel is that you get more interaction quickly and like almost guaranteed response. So Anyway, enough with that. I hope you're having a wonderful day and I'll see you soon.